What's up, guys? It's Steve with the Ultimate Pickup Artist Convention. I'm here with the world famous Mehow.
Thanks.
So how you been, man?
I've been great. I've been real busy.
Yeah, I bet.
Working on the show. The big news with us is that we have 2 nationally published books out now.
Yeah.
One is for men called How to Talk to Hot Women. Now there's one for women coming out called How to Talk to Hot Guys.
Okay.
And we have a show on Yahoo Screen called The Girls Game where I basically teach women how to be pickup artists.
Okay, I want to ask you something. So, I watched one today, and you actually had a video of how to tell if a guy's a pickup artist.
Yeah, I had that.
So is that good for guys or what?
Well, on that one, I just basically, that was like, they just don't wear a furry hat, right?
Yeah,
like that's all you need to do, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is how you really tell if a guy's a pickup artist.
Right.
So yeah, we threw that up like as a Q&A for girls, because I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a pickup artist or not. You're either gonna charm her or you're not. So
Well, I
like,
guess
you're cool or you're not cool. So if you're cool, she's not gonna care.
Yeah.
Right? And she might ask, but then you're like, huh? Like, a girl's, are you a pickup artist? I'll be like, a what?
Or what? Yeah, that has worked. I got called out, when I first started getting into the indirect shit. I was like, is that from the book? I was like, what? What book? What are you talking about? And she kind of changed the subject.
Yeah, if you do indirect, like classic mystery method, that's the only thing that'll get you called out these days. Like, I mean, my opener is, I think you're adorable, I have to come and say hi.
Right.
And I actually have women doing that same thing to guys, even that exact same phrase.
That is rare. If you can get more women doing that, dude, we'd be in business.
Yeah, well, what's hilarious is I'll send women in to do that, and then the dudes will totally fail. Because like most guys are lame anyway, right? Like, they don't know anything. Yeah. So what was interesting is to see that even when women open, that doesn't change. Right. Because most guys are like, oh, I wish she would talk to me, I wish she would talk to me, I wish she would talk to me. And then she does, and then the dude just fails. And we have like hundreds of these on tape. So the whole point of the women's game is to basically lead the guy who doesn't know anything about pickup through a process where he can pick her up. Gotcha. So I teach them something called ghost leading, where they basically like subtly lead the guy through the process to see if he can be playful, see if he can be fun, see if he can be engaging. But usually the dudes fail. Right.
Yeah, I would assume they do.
And honestly, a lot of guys assume it's like, oh, the girl's hot, so she doesn't have any problems. That's completely not true. Yeah. Like, if a girl's hot, she gets approached by 2 cool dudes a month, but like the other 80 are all fail. Right. And then, the way we change her reality is we start having her approach, and then she's meeting 2 cool dudes a day, 2 cool dudes a day. But then there's still 80% of her fail. It's just she's going through 10 guys a day, like when she's doing the approaching. Because like it's amazing how hard it is to get guys, just normal dudes, to approach a hot girl. Like me and you, it's like a girl smiles at us, we're like, oh yeah, that was an approach invitation. We're like, there.
It's time, yeah.
Right? Normal dudes, the girl can be like, takes out her earbud, and it's like, we actually did an episode on that, right? Where eventually guys would start opening her, but before, she was so bitchy looking. Even though she really wasn't that bitchy, she was just hot and focused, like on what she was doing. She was so bitchy looking that no one would open her at all, right? So we got her, so like a couple guys would open her a day, but the problem with that is then that was still not enough, because then those 2 dudes, like, you were still, even the guys that approached weren't necessarily cool. They were just dudes that are approaching, right? Like there's no real correlation between guys that approach. There's not enough people know pickup. Like, there's this tiny portion of the society that knows pickup, right, in terms of men. And there's this other tiny portion that are naturals. And the rest just suck in terms of men. So that's what we're trying to fix. That's what we're trying to fix at the convention, which you should go to.
That's right. UPUAC.com, in fact.
Yeah, so there's my little tirade on
Okay, well, what made you get into pickup, for the guys that don't know you? What made you get into all this stuff?
So I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and you actually know me for almost that entire period. And it's 9 years exactly. I got into pickup because I got divorced, and I couldn't get a date for 2 years. And when I was in college, I was a rescue guy. I was on the rescue squad. I was search and rescue. I saved a guy out of a crashed plane. Like, I just liked helping people. That's always been my thing. And then I couldn't do it anymore because I hurt my back and I couldn't do rescues. And I just got into computers for 10 years. And it was kind of unfulfilling. I was a computer hacker, which is as interesting as you can get in the computer field. And I ran this little intelligence company, and we gathered intelligence for the government, and we hacked into stuff. It was pretty cool, but like it just wasn't very fulfilling, right? And then after my divorce, I was like, oh shit, I got a romance problem, right? So then I got into the pickup community, and now I sort of, in my mind, I'm like I'm the romance rescue guy.
Gotcha.
Right? Because now this is the new rescue I do that I can do, because it doesn't require lifting fat people.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, and my first thing was I did a boot camp with Mystery, back, and my first boot camp was very interesting because it was, the 4 instructors were Love Drop, Neil Strauss, Savoy from Love Systems, and Mystery himself. Right? Which is pretty much
classic.
like that became like, out of that came like 3 different companies, right?
Yeah,
and then split offs and lawsuits, but back then it was just me and those guys. So it was a cool boot camp, but indirect, long comfort storytelling never worked for me. So then I started inventing my own stuff, and the big thing, so we pioneered is 10-second attraction, which is you never talk for more than 10 seconds, except when you're in lecture mode like this, right? But when I'm with a girl, everything's a soundbite, even if it's 10 hours. Right. Even if it's a year-long relationship, I'm still soundbiting like everything. I never really go long, except for very few special situations. And then we started doing a lot of infield video, and that was the thing that kind of made me big in the communities. I started videotaping myself. And then that led to the Infield Insider series, Infield Exposed. So at the convention, I'm going to show you some new day game footage. Yeah. So people don't know me, I'm day game, right? Yeah. I actually do more day game now than night game, just because of it's in LA. It's easier to get really hot girls in day game than it is at night.
That's kind of what I'm going to be talking about too, because it's funny that you're going that way, I'm going that way, and I tell guys that you kind of use half the energy to get twice as hot as chicks.
Yeah, exactly. Like here in day game in LA, you can get like super, super hot chicks, because like in Studio City, you just there's like all these actresses and models just walking around, because this is where they live. Right. And so, I've done pickups where like I'll stop the car, jump out and talk to her, and I run her down, stuff like that.
You run her over or run her down?
They run her down, not with the car, with me. I run her over, then I'm like, yeah, love me.
All right, cool. So give us an idea maybe what you're going to teach. Well, you already said you're going to do some video. But
yeah, so I'm going to show some infield video, and I'm going to teach a bunch of day game. And we're gonna talk about how to basically make everything a soundbite, and why that's important. Because when you say everything in sound bites, then the girl keeps sound biting you back, so now she's automatically getting engaged. So without telling her what to do, by just saying, do you know what's amazing? She'll be like, what? Right? Right. Well, you can make an entire conversation out of stuff like that. Okay. Right? I almost wore the exact same dress tonight. Right? Sound bite. Or you can be like, hey, indirect opener, right? And it can go long. So the point is to be able to format your personality and free associate off what she just said into sound bites of your own. So you keep building that, what I call the magic castle. So it's like that serendipitous magic castle where you're everything you say comes from what she just said. And everything she said just comes from what you just said. Right. And you build that sort of like that bond because you've had this amazing conversation that in her mind is rare, although you as a pickup artist can do it with like every girl. Right. Okay. So we'll be talking about that in the context of day game, and I'll show some infield examples of that technique. All right, sounds good. So guys, if you want to hear Mehow's new stuff, see this infield footage that he's got, then go to upuac.com. or click the link in the description box of this video, and we will talk to you soon. Sweet. Peace.